Greetings and welcome to you. This is going to be a reading for you if you are Leo. Hello, hello, Leo. Happy birthday. I know that a lot of you are having a birthday right around this time. What is the physical work? Let me just clean here. What is the physical work that Leo needs to work on during this time? And you're not trying to hear it. You're not trying to hear it because you're celebrating your birthday, and detox is just not one of those things that you want to do. But, if you are a spiritually advanced Leo and you're serious about taking care of yourself, then a group of you is probably in recovery, and another group of you is considering detoxing. But I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I have a lot of siblings that are Leos, and they all party. Younger than me, older than me, they all party, and they're never going to stop. That's just the mentality that comes with most Leos, okay? The first card that we have is the physical work that you need to work on is the deception. Why are you falling victim to the deception? Why are you going by modern society standards? Some of you even work for nonprofit organizations that are supposed to be helping the environment or helping conserve animal extinction. You're usually a director for whatever field you choose to be in, yet you party like you're not aware of the spiritual consequences that come with that. And it's one of those things that you just... Sometimes I wonder if there are certain things that you could ever take away from each sign. It just seems like there are certain things, certain characteristics, or certain addictions, or certain behaviors that just cannot be surpassed for some of the signs, The Leos that I do see that go into recovery or are interested in living a more sober life usually do so because they had no choice, because they almost died, because they had an overdose, because they were in a program where they were on probation or on parole and they had no choice but to be sober. And a lot of them don't think they have a problem. They don't think they have a problem with this habit because they can afford the habit. And for some reason, when someone is able to afford a habit or afford an addiction, it makes it okay. So if you're homeless and you're drinking liquor, it's bad. But if you're filthy rich and you're drinking wine, it's good. That's what society conditions people to believe, and people go for it. A person who is wealthy and using alcohol, non-holistic drugs, is no better than somebody on the street that's using in the spiritual world. I just find it really interesting on how difficult it is to prune certain characteristics from certain signs. And like I said, a lot of Leos don't think they have a problem. They think that their addiction is a representation of their freedom, and that's what they hide behind. you hide behind this, well, I am free, well, I am independent, and I have the right to, partake and drink alcohol because it is my right. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Like, seriously, I started a recovery channel for addicts. The main purpose that I started, I've had multiple channels that I had to delete and restart and start over because of so many different reasons. But the main reason is for people who are in recovery, people who are trying to live a better life, people who are trying to break cycles, people who are trying to break chains, people who are trying to stop the dysfunction in families. We have nothing to give this new generation. What has this new generation been born into? What have they been born into? There's no positive movies. There's no positive music. Everything is contaminated. Everything is corrupt. And children are influenced at such a young age to be over-sexualized. And what are the children watching? The children are watching their parents. The children are watching their parents be TikTok addicts, narcissistic addicts on TikTok, where people are obsessed with taking selfies, people are obsessed with taking pictures of their food. And what is that teaching children? When you're posting every 5 minutes, people can't even donate to a homeless person without recording themselves. What is that teaching children? The earth is on fire. That is what the new generation is being brought into. There is no positive influence. There is no male role model. There is no female role model. Alcohol is promoted everywhere, in every corner. And where are the people we're supposed to run to that don't want to partake in those things? Where are the holistic lifestyles, the mental health resources for those that actually want to do something with their spiritual or energetic life? I personally keep distance. I keep distance from my family because my family wants to continue on dark paths. And you have to stay away from people who want to continue dark paths. And it's sad. It's sad that some people have big families and they feel like they're only safe around a very few. This is just a general reading. It's not going to resonate with everybody. If it's not your story, it's not your story. It may be tomorrow. I simply pick up on the loudest storyline for this collective group. And this has just been an ongoing issue. This has been an ongoing issue on so many levels, Leo, because you are supposed to be the role model in the family, in astrology even. In astrology, you are represented by the sun. The sun is supposed to be everything that is light and healing, which you naturally have when you're sober. You already carry a certain amount of power, healing power. Your presence alone has healing power, has healing light, transforms a room just by your presence when you are sober. Do you understand? So when you get intoxicated, you're lowering your vibration. You're lowering your vibration to zero, to negative, to nothing. And you're joining the underworld. And your sun, your power, your abilities are turned off. And you're no longer able to contribute your medicine to the world. Now, imagine you do this all the time. Imagine you drink every single day. That means that you're not offering your gifts, your contributions to the community and to the world. For the inner work, we have fears. Getting over your fears. Your fears are stopping you from being unconditionally loving in a certain situation. I think that it's towards yourself. I feel like you need to be unconditionally loving towards yourself. And you've been in denial. You've been in denial, telling yourself that loving yourself is drinking. That loving yourself is buying a bottle of wine. That's what you've been telling yourself. Spiritual work that you need to do. This is associated with gospel singing, soul songs, sacred soul songs that you make up with your own soul signature, and psaltery, and reconnecting with whatever that means to you. Maybe some of you are singers and you need to go back to singing. Singing is ultimately going to be the salvation of humanity. Humanity is ultimately going to be saved by its frequency, its vibration, its song. That's how it's going to, how people are going to be distinguished, because how are people distinguished? How are birds distinguished? Birds are distinguished by their song, and humanity is the same. It is by the soul song that you will be distinguished. So let's go ahead and put these aside. You had a very deep Lakota medicine reading, so let's lighten it up. The reason I'm so hard on you is because you hold a power. There are certain power signs in astrology that have more influence than others. If I had to say which ones I think those are, I would have to say Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Capricorn, I feel like those signs that I just mentioned hold a certain power. And when you misuse that power, you're not only misusing your own power, but you're lowering it down, and that ends up having no use to contributing towards the collective. And the problem with Leos is we need you. We need your contributions, but you are always partying. Come home to the residence of your soul resonance. Is this not exactly what we've been discussing? You haven't gone home. You haven't gone home in decades, Leo. When have you actually been yourself? Everything that you have become is one big bottle of conditioner. You have been conditioned from head to toe. Even the older ones that should know better, even the older ones that went off to other countries. What wisdom did you gain if you just returned to do the exact same thing that you did before you left? You, Leo, have not gone home. You have not gone home. To your soul resonance, your true place of power. I haven't seen Leo in its true place of power in, gosh, I can't even say. It's been over a decade. And there's no blame here. There's no blame here because we can't always control the harsh astrological aspects, but at the same time, we're not meant to be defeated by them. We're not meant to be defeated by them. Just because there's a hard placement doesn't mean that we're going to be defeated by that hard placement. We can say no. I can go into my soul resonance right now. I can come home to the residence of my soul resonance now. And you might be having blamed your spouse. You might have been blaming your person this whole time because of your own unhappiness, and you might have blamed the relationship for your unhappiness, but really it's because you've been away. You've been away from your soul resonance. You're going to have victory over this situation if you haven't already. We have a woman holding a heart. If you're a man, there's a woman who's interested in you. And if you're a woman, you have your heart on your sleeve. We're going to put these back in because they were just falling cards. So we're going to put them back in, and I'm actually going to give you a couple more. Connecting with your inner child, having a conversation with your inner child. When you have a conversation in meditation with your inner child, you will usually get a list of complaints from your inner child. Okay, those came back out. I put them back in because there were too many, but they came back out. Let's talk about them. Door to value. This is why you have such a hard time resisting the temptation of partying and drinking because you're so spanking successful. You have the mind of an entrepreneur. You're a boss. You usually end up always being the head of the director, right? That's your weakness. Your weakness is that because you can afford it, you get tempted. You get tempted to party, and you party hard. There was something I wanted to say that I noticed. A lot of people posting things about self-love and self-care and connecting with their ancestors while they're drinking alcohol. And it really bothers me to see that, because don't you think that maybe if our ancestors were drinking alcohol, that they were probably addicted back then too? And that's how long it's been. That's how many generations have gone by that haven't been broken by anybody that it wants to put a stop to it. At least having the desire to put the stop to it, because with a lot of family dynamics that I notice, there is no desire to stop. There there's not even a clue of anyone in certain families needing deliverance. You needing to be more grounded. You're using alcohol to get grounded. And it's almost like you forgot how to get grounded without it. You can't go anywhere without it. You go to the beach, you go to a picnic, a park, and you just always have to have a drink with whoever you're with. Working on your digestion because of the alcohol. The alcohol lowers your vibration, so it also lowers your desire for low quality food. So you have a lot of low quality food and you have inflammation or a celiac, gluten intolerance. There's another one, I just can't remember what it is, but like autoimmune deficiencies and things like that. Alcohol will rob your body of all the nutrients and minerals that it needs, and it will keep the negative bacteria in your digestive system. So the negative bacteria that is not good for your body will have an overgrowth in your digestive system because of alcohol, because alcohol comes and scrapes all the positive bacteria and mineral and nutrients from your entire body. And people think that alcohol is clearing your system, and it is. It's clearing it of all the minerals and nutrients that you need, and it leaves the negative candida, and that's why a lot of you have problems with fungus overgrowth, whether that is athlete's foot or yeast infections. All of that comes from beer and yeast and drinking so much of it and so consistently. And then here we have the contract. So a lot of addictions come with contracts that need to be cleared and cut from you. A lot of times the reasons why people cannot leave addictions is because they have to clear the books, they have to clear the karma, they have to clear the contracts that they have with demons and dark spirits from other lifetimes that follow you. And that's why people have this idea that drinking alcohol is connecting with ancestors, because it's inherited. It's an inherited curse. It's an inherited addiction. It's inherited karma, inherited contracts, inherited habits that need to be broken, not continued, for God's sakes. Really ask yourself, what is unconditional love? Would you give alcohol to a baby? So why does that change just because you're an adult? I don't know if I want to take these two. This is the one that flipped over. These are just the ones that fell on the side. I don't know if I should take them. Let's take them. Remember where you're from and who you really are, your childhood home. Remember who you were before you started drinking. Who were you before you started drinking? Who were you before you started using hard, non-holistic drugs? Who were you? That is the real you. Face and embrace the person in the mirror. You've been running away from the person in the mirror for decades. And we have polishing your communication skills. You ghost loved ones. You ghost people. You have a problem with ghosting that's associated with childhood trauma. There's a lot going on with you. There's a lot going on with you. Your person, who are you dating? Who's thinking about you? What would they say if they could but can't? Sometimes one person or two people might come forward. We have you and I were too young. So someone from your past did not or could not commit because you were too young. I wish I could share my good news with you. You cut contact with a lot of people that love and care for you is what I get. I'm getting siblings, ex-boyfriends. There's people from your past that, like, you have a way of making people love you like family. Like, they fall in love with you like family. And when you break up with them, when that relationship doesn't succeed for the long term, for whatever reason, that person ends up falling in love with you like a family member. You know, like when you break up, it hurts them so much that it feels like they lost a family member. So they want to stay in contact with you because they care about you so much that even if you break up, they want to know that you're okay. You have a way of making all of your exes fall in love with you to the point where they just want to know you're okay forever. I remember every detail of that day. So you have a lot of people whose hearts you broke here. And the ghosting, I think, is very interesting. The ghosting that you do to your friends, your acquaintances, your coworkers, your binge partners, your family members, lovers, exes, the ghosting that you do is a representation of the ghosting that you have done to yourself for over a decade. We don't share the same values, is what someone else would want to say. Maybe someone else does not want to party. Maybe someone else doesn't want to live that lifestyle. So it didn't work out for a certain group because they wanted somebody more sober-minded. I'm sorry, I keep saying. I don't know why this happened. You have a person who's confused. I can't be with you. So that could be for another group. For those of you who are with someone that you think there is potential with, actual potential, what is that potential? By the way, I also am picking up very strongly that if you're thinking about marrying somebody, you need to detox for at least a month. A whole month. A whole 30 days of you not drinking. To really, really, really think about whether this is somebody that you want to marry. Why do I say that? I say that because alcohol lowers your vibration. So you're going to be attracted to people, especially when you meet while drinking. You're going to be attracted to people who are of a lower vibration, just like the food. When you drink alcohol, you desire food that is of a lower vibration, and sometimes you will be attracted to somebody and then you sober up from the alcohol and realize that you are not attracted to them at all. And this includes being hungover. A lot of times when people are hungover, they are not in their right senses, and they will call the ex and have makeup sex or whatever, and then they get back together, and then they sober up again, and they're like, what the heck was I doing? What in the world was I thinking? Emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. Resentment of any form will cause disease in the body. It doesn't mean that what that person did was right. You just have to let it go for yourself. You don't have to have a relationship with the person who did it. Just because you are getting rid of the resentment doesn't mean that you have to have a relationship with the person who caused it. You're getting rid of the resentment for yourself. If you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind, for the heart is the gateway to the soul. What colors does Leo need to work on during this time? We have chocolate, nourishing your body and soul. When was the last time that you did that? When was the last time that you actually nourished your body and soul the correct way? The correct way. Meditating and having a conversation with each individual organ will give you a clue on which way is the correct way. Thank you so much for watching, Leo. Till next time. Bye.